Hey, y'all, we just finished talking with Greg Gordon, founder of Party Machines. To say he's an interesting, unique human would be an understatement. This guy started off slinging margarita machines all across Texas while running for Austin mayor. As he was doing both those, he realized that margaritas were for the birds, and it was actually about bubbles. So if you've had bubbles at a party, you probably have Greg to thank for it. This guy lives the life that says, I only do what I want to do, and here's how I go about doing it. Let's jump right in. All right, team. We're here with Greg Gordon. Gosh, man, this is such a crazy story how you're even in this seat. Let me tell the story real quick, 5 seconds. We're in Colorado, visiting with a lot of owners, visiting with, doing some content out there, podcast, everything. And Greg is from afar watching us down in Vail area. And I think just clicks with what we're doing. It's so funny how just like right time, right place, recognizing that after a while that, hey, it shouldn't surprise me that you run into good people, but what you've built with everything from Party Machines and foam and all that, we're going to get into it. But the fact that we met, not through some formal introduction or nothing, is I am running and gunning with the camera and the team, and you're in the background, man, right below a ski lift. What are the odds of that, man? So good to have you here in Austin, Texas, and thanks for making the trip out.
My pleasure, Joseph. This is, as I said, this is home.
Yeah.
I say this is home. This is where I'm from. Home is now Breckenridge, Colorado.
Not a bad place to be. Yeah, not a bad place to be. Well, you graced us with some really cool things on the way in, man. Everything from we always, like our team always loves good. What we get to benefit from is being American operator, but we also get to like sport everybody else's brand. So everything from the stickers you gave us to the bath bombs and the what was the other thing you called it?
It's a bath bomb for the shower. They're shower steamers.
Shower steamers, man. Well, I appreciate all that. We got some things here. Since you're a brand guy, I'm curious. Open that up for me. This is all for you. I'm curious what you think about that.
I think the Marlboro Man.
Okay, good, man. That has become a fan favorite.
That is fantastic and cool. And I like a T-shirt with a pocket on it. So,
man. Well, that's for you, man. Everything else out here, that's become quite the favorite, not only around the team here, but all our owners. Like, if you see one around town now, wherever you are in the world, we prioritize giving that to our owners. Part of it's just like the design behind it is we wanted something Americana, but also kind of a throwback to like the grittiness of
yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I see dust.
I see dust. Yeah, exactly right, man. Well, Greg, again, man, stoked to have you. Yeah, look at that.
Come on.
My man, look at this.
I got this.
For those of you just listening into audio right now, Greg's he's repping our hat, which the hat you came in was pretty legit, but thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I got this.
Well, let's talk about you, man. Look, you've made an entire empire with foam machines, which is crazy. But before we get there, talk to me about Greg the guy growing up. What were the beginnings of your life that led you ultimately to think about getting into business yourself?
I have to start with thank you for asking me to talk about my favorite topic of conversation.
Okay.
Which is me. My mother is an enabler.
Okay.
My father was a gambling addict. If you know anything about an alcoholic, replace the word alcohol with gamble. My dad did not drink. He did not do drugs. He went to Vietnam in the late 60s for a year, and he came home, and my mother said, that's what ruined him. I know my dad was mean. Paul is 2 years older than me, my older brother. Steven's 2 years younger, and we are tight, the three of us. And we all did live in Austin until I moved to Colorado, and they're still here. And growing up, my dad sucked. And I can tell you now that my dad sucked. And if my dad didn't suck so bad, I would not be so successful today. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm grateful because I can scratch my own head. I'm grateful because I experience failure and rejection regularly, and that makes me the success that I am. You asked talk about me. Because anything that I did as a kid was not good enough, I tried harder. And now today, I can play chess. I don't play chess, but I think a good chess player is 12 moves ahead. In my brain, I'm 12 moves ahead. It's a blessing and a curse, but I am not wired to work for the next guy because I work harder than the next four people. I wake up running. I'm excited to figure out the puzzle. I can tell you that now. I used to not understand. And starting at age 23, fresh out of college, when all my friends graduated, I stopped going, and I got told several times, "Hey, man, you didn't graduate." I'm like, "That's okay. Don't tell anybody."
How many years did you go?
I went on and off for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
I can tell you now also that I actually wanted to learn. And I know very specifically several things that are incredibly helpful in single thing that I do today that I learned in college. The teachers didn't understand that I really wanted to learn. So I would just move on and get my B's and C's and D's and the occasional F, and I was just good. And then I started self-employment. But what makes me tick is the upbringing. And then I got lucky, or I created my own luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get. You hear that all the time. True.
Hey, y'all, quick break. Here at American Operator, we believe that small business is the backbone of this country. But more and more, Main Street's getting swallowed up by big corporations, Wall Street, or some of them are just shutting down. And if you've ever thought about building something of your own, or just being a part of saving the American dream, head on over to AmericanOperator.com. It's your one-stop shop for inspiration, stories, and you'll get to join this really great community of patriots that believe our country is still worth fighting for. All right, back to the show. Did you know that about yourself? Did you had did any of that early childhood stuff prevent you, or did you always just kind of accept it and move on? Or did it take some beating up to figure out? You know what I mean? Were you stuck for a while, or were you always?
I was never, ever, ever, ever stuck for a while.
Okay.
I love that question. The early childhood stuff, I didn't know what was happening. I know now because I got plenty of time to reflect. What I don't do is feel sorry for myself. I don't dwell on the negative because I believe video games in the 80s, and I'm sure they still exist today, the punching games, you only had a certain amount of energy. And then we can get to the time in November 01 when I came in 3rd out of 8 in the Austin Mayor's race. My dear friend Adam Tate said to me, "Greg Gordon, you only have a certain amount of energy. Then you run out." And I put the analogy with the boxing game in the 80s, you run out of energy. So I consciously think every day, all the time, "Oh, nope, can't put that energy into that because I can put my energy into this." I cannot waste my time putting tape on boxes, but I take the exact same energy making videos that turn into $1 gazillion.
Yeah.
So that Boy Scouts as a kid, my high school job working at a women's shoe store in Beaumont, Texas, and then the Macaroni and Grill in college for right under 3 years. Those are my 3 big learning things. And then the making mistakes, that was the Boy Scouts. You mess something up and you keep going, and if you do something right, I was taught early, you do something right, then you just imitate it. But if you make a mistake, you get to analyze and you go back and then you crush it later because you can figure out how not to make the same mistake twice. It's cool to make a bazillion mistakes, but don't make them twice.
Of those 3 places, you said the Macaroni Grill women's shoes?
I worked at a women's shoe store in high school for 9th through 12th grade.
Okay. And what was the last one you said there?
Boy Scouts.
Oh, and Boy Scouts. Of those 3 things, what would you say that, I'm just curious, and maybe it's not just one thing.
Yeah.
But if you pull a major thing that you still use today from those experiences, what are those?
Goal setting, Boy Scouts. I do it all the time. Every December, I make my goals for the next year.
Okay.
I write things down, and I'm incredibly focused, as I may come across as like squirrel. But I incredibly, like the boots. I bought a pair of boots. They're nice.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for years. I walk in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the easiest sale I've ever." Yeah. And whoever's near me, they're like my wife, Lindsay. She's like, "Oh, I love shopping with Greg Gordon because he is quick."
He's not a shopper, you're a buyer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Because I think about it. But on the surface, when you see it, you, the next person, it is quick because I've been processing it for a while.
Yeah.
So goal setting, Boy Scouts. That's the mistakes too. And then Macaroni Grill. Macaroni Grill was sales, was control the conversation. Words have meaning. Be deliberate. I do not ask you how you're doing because everybody else does. I ask you something more specific and more personal, and I listen and I ask a follow-up question. And I have a creepy good memory. At a high school reunion, I'm full-on creepy because I remember everything. It is a fun game. And then if I don't remember, I get you to think I remembered, and that's good enough. And if I know you want an example. So I used to go, about 13 years in a row, I'd go between 3 and 10 industry-specific trade shows to sell foam machines to people who use foam machines for a living. And the big one was the amusement park-related one in Orlando in November, like 13, 14, 15 years in a row. And I'd see the same people each year, and everybody's got a name tag on. And they'd come up to the booth, and there would be somebody working with me that works multiple years in a row, and somebody new would come up and be, hey, what's up, Joseph? From Bernie, Texas? And like, oh, you read the name tag. I said, yeah, I know I read the name tag. But I told you, Joseph is one of my favorite people. He and I used to work together at Macaroni Grill. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's what you said. Yeah, because I say that to everybody named Joseph. But you don't know that, and that doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, Paul, I told you my older brother's name is Paul. Yeah, you did. That's what I say. It's not insincere. You don't have to be insincere. And that stuff makes money.
It's you're making people feel like, that's the thing that I find with great entrepreneurs, but also just great humans. They find a way to make sure that individual feels like they're, not feels, but really feels the most important thing at the moment.
Yes.
Right? Not just, to your point, sweeping statements.
And it jogs my memory, and I do remember stuff.
Yeah.
Which is just because I care. Like, I can talk to you about dead presidents all day long. Like, how do you know that?
What's your favorite dead one right now?
Lyndon Johnson.
Oh, really?
He's Central Texan.
Well, true.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Austin. Oh, yeah, we could talk about him. That's all. I mean, I talked to you about, talk about him for days.
We might have to change the topic of the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What, okay, what about selling lady shoes?
So the women's shoe store, this is the most powerful one. It's called the Tammy Carnahan theory. So Mike, who's still a dear friend, my skin tingles when I talk about Mike Spector and his dad, Max, and his brother, Ronnie. Two things, but the Tammy Carnahan theory. 9th grade, I am quiet. I'm deathly shy, afraid to talk to girls. I could talk to the adults, but I can't talk to the girls. So 9th grade, Mike says to me, I've retold the story 2,000 times. Greg, who are you taking to homecoming? I said, nobody. Why not? Anybody you want to ask? Yeah, Tammy Carnahan. He picks up the phone book. In Beaumont, Texas, not a lot of people.
Yeah.
He goes down, he dials a number, puts the phone in my hand. Hello? Yeah. Tammy? Yeah. Hey, it's Greg. Gordon? Yeah. Hey, do you have a date to homecoming? Yeah. Okay, see you tomorrow. Click. Fast forward. The story it didn't matter. Didn't change my life at all. Whether she said, yes, I have a date. Yes, I'll go with you. Nothing changed. So I only had to gain if she said yes. There was nothing to lose. It was all in my head. And he whispered that, and he said that to me for years and years. Fast forward to 10-year high school reunion. 10 years after 10-year high school reunion, Renee, who I grew up with, moves to Austin. She's unloading into her apartment, and she's got a picture with Tammy Carnahan. I said, oh my gosh, let me tell you about Tammy. Because at this point, I'm 28, 29, 5 years self-employed, and I told her the story that I just told you. She goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to call her. I'm overdue for a phone call. So she calls me after the phone call. She goes, he remembers me? Okay, here's the lesson. Biggest deal in the world to me. Tammy didn't even think I remembered her. Oh my gosh, he asked me to homecoming. Did I go with him? I'm like, you can't script it this good, Joseph. This humongous, monumental thing to me in my life that was just, I was so scared. She didn't even remember. The lesson was, what is such a big deal to me, as they say in Central Texas, it don't matter none.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't even remember. She was flattered that I remember her. And that was so, so powerful. That was from Macaroni Grill, from the Guarantee Shoe Store in Beaumont, because Mike taught me that. And number 2 was his dad, Max. Max, I watched a lady walk in the store, and I listened to her say, I want some high-heel black patent leather shoes. I watched her walk out with some flat white shoes. For the sake of the story, that's close enough to the story. Max, I go up to him. I said, hey, man, you didn't sell that lady what she wanted. He goes, what are you talking about? This is a women's shoe store. She came in with money and said, take my money, give me shoes. That's exactly what I did. Fast forward. I'm January 2002. I'd been moving soda machines around, renting frozen margarita machines, barely scraping by, working my butt off. Run for mayor, sold my house, moved in an apartment, barely getting by. I get, hey, Greg, it's such and such fraternity, University of Texas. July 2002, we're going to need 2 more frozen margarita machines like we got last summer from you. I said, great. $180 for the 2 of them, and they each weigh 185 pounds. Each one of them costs $2,600, and there's a $150 cart they sit on, and they need a 5-gallon bucket and a half a gallon of gooey syrup, and I need a pickup truck to move them around. I said, super, two margarita machines. Hey, by the way, can you rent us a foam machine also? I said, yeah, I've got a phone booth. He goes, foam, F-O-A-M. I said, that's what I said. The reason I did that is because Max said, that lady walked into my store waving money, said, take my money. That guy called me on the phone and said, Greg, take my money. He said, what do you charge to rent the foam machine? I said, what did you pay last year? He said, $1,400. I didn't fall on the floor, but I fell on the floor. Hey, man, that's exactly what I charge. Let me get a contract to you. And then I was in the foam business. The foam machine cost me $2,200 to buy, the very first one, which was $400 less than a margarita machine.
Yeah.
It weighed 40 pounds, not 185 pounds. And I was in the foam machine rental business.
Just because of an ask.
Because of the ask. Because Max said, you say yes. You say yes. When I write my book, it's going to be Say Yes and Show Up on Time. That's the title.
Give me a, man.
That makes a person rich.
Well, it's just like something that I think breaks people's brains, thinking about how much, the way I'll describe great business owners, entrepreneurs, those kinds of things, those kind of folks, they're like really good at, they're walking through the dark, and everybody behind them on the team, they make the team believe they know where they're going. And the reality of it is they don't really fully understand that. But what ends up happening is this really special thing. Because of their confidence, it manifests what ends up happening. Teammate picks up a light, flashlight on the way. They start shining things around. Because like, well, if Greg can see, well then maybe I should be able to see. And what's weird is you start manifesting that thing. But a lot of folks don't have the guts, the courage, or maybe the swagger to get there. I can see why it's easier for you to do that. Why do you, if you were going to give someone some advice today about leaning into that, whatever you want to call it, that confidence that's not quite baked yet, the reason you just said yes, what can you give somebody some connection to start exploring that more?
It's the same exact words on Sunday nights in Beaumont as a kid. At Mazzio's Pizza, they had free sodas. Or as you and I call it, free Cokes.
Free Cokes, yeah.
When you get your pizza. So my mom and dad and the two brothers, the five of us, will go into Mazzio's Pizza. And there's a television room. And you walk up the middle. I vividly remember this. I don't tell this story enough. You walk up the middle after getting your Coke to go sit down at the table with the family. And everybody's looking at you. And I used to walk in that room. And I would say in my head, with drink in hand, trying to shrink and not be seen, everybody's looking at me. I don't know why. But something one day clicked, and I walk the same exact path and say the exact same words. My shoulders are back, my head is high, I'm smiling from ear to ear, and I say, everybody's looking at me. It's the exact same words. I don't know how, it's because I tried once, and it worked. When I worked at Macaroni Grill, I remember vividly saying new lines. Oh, the word likewise. Hey, nice to see you. Likewise. Nice to meet you. Likewise. It didn't sound natural to me at first. I watched David Letterman or Conan O'Brien, whoever on TV, when they meet people, they say, nice to see you, nice to know you. When Governor Bush, we used to have a governor in Texas named George Bush, and I remember meeting him. He says, good to see you. I hadn't met the guy before, but I learned from the people at the top. They were successful in their field, meaning they meet a bazillion people, and they're not going to say nice to meet you because everybody says nice to meet you. They're going to be unique and better. So I want to be unique and better. So I'm going to say, everybody's looking at me. And I watched the next guy, and we would drive down Thomas Road. My dad, we would drive down Thomas Road in Beaumont from our house, and he'd make noises. Oh, but these houses must be nice. Must be nice. These people have really nice houses. And I don't know why it went into my head, this must be nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to get me these houses whenever I want. And I can now, but I don't need to live in Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah.
And there's just so many of those stories. It's why people are, what if that doesn't work? And my reply always is, what if it does? And then it's all coupled together. The goal setting is humongous, humongous, humongous. I had the Lake Austin house that was on my goals, and it evolved into the house in Breckenridge.
Yeah.
And I got it. And I found a list of my goals from 2016, and I had it. Have a lake house, get the down payment for my Lake Austin house. And I got it. I'm there. I've been there 4 years now in Breckenridge.
I think that's like, those are the things, I think what you've captured there is something that I think a lot of folks struggle with. It's that They're more almost afraid of the it going wrong, the no. Because I'm thinking about your margarita story, and I'm thinking about how that transitioned into foam. I want to get all into foam here, but I'd like. It seems to me, I'm not Greg Gordon, but it seems to me you're like, the worst that could happen is that I got to give this guy's money back because I can't find a foam machine. Right?
You started it. You ready?
Uh-huh.
I don't say this often. I gave him half his money back. The machine I bought wasn't big enough.
Oh, really?
I had to give him half his money back. I still had $700,
Yeah.
which was more than the $180 I had for the 2 margarita machines. There you go. That's the scoop. I did give him half his money back. The machine wasn't big enough. Whoops.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yep. Now you.
Oh, he had a lawyer call me. Hey, here's your money back. You don't need to have a lawyer call me.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Did it slow me down?
Yeah.
Not at all.
I think it's just a way of being. I think that's something that, as I talk more and more, we run into owners all the time. There is a part of me that wonders if that can be taught. Like, do you have it in you, or can someone learn to be that way?
Yes, you can learn it. We were all bullied as kids. We were all bullied as kids, right? Right?
I don't know.
I was bullied as kid. I was bullied as kid. So I'm in middle school, and the kid would always come up into my face and make noise. And one day, I don't remember, I pushed back, and they stopped. Oh my gosh, that was easy. And then from then on, I just pushed back, and then they'd stop. And if they didn't, I'd punch them in the nose, and then they'd stop. It was fascinating. It's like, wait, why you? Why not me?
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think it's like you break out of the matrix. It's like you start to understand the way the world kind of actually is.
It's not complicated. And also another one was the drugs. I never smoked, never inhaled a cigarette, none of that. I remember in college in the early 90s in Austin, I had all these friends that would smoke pot. In the early 90s, there was this guy named Michael Dell selling computers.
I think I heard of him.
Yeah, you might have heard of him. But my reply was, they're like, hey, man, we're going to go smoke pot, or we're going to go get drunk this week. And I said, do you think Michael Dell's doing that? Mm-hmm. Because that's where I wanted to be. My goal, I was focused. And they want nothing to do with that after I said that. I'm like, wow, right on. That was easy. So you find if you hang out with drug dealers, you're going to be a drug dealer. So I chose not to hang out with the people that didn't want to be able to go snowboarding every day in the winter.
Yeah, man, I think that's the unlike. It's something that I wish folks had more chances to experiment with. And there's a lot of ingredients and factors I think lead to it. How your parents are, what they aren't, all that stuff, your experiences around you, whatever. So you're in the foam business now.
Yes, I am in the foam business now.
Greg, what is foam? I mean, like, what is a foam machine, a party machine, this thing you do? Help me understand that.
Absolutely. Instead of filling up the bathtub with bubble bath, it's a device that fills up the entire yard or room with the same bubbles. Think of a water hose, except 20 times the size. It dumps out. It's not soapy water. It's bubbly water. When you brush your teeth, there is bubble in your toothpaste, and that is a marketing bit. This is it's called a surfactant. It's a surfactant blend. It's the bubble out of your shampoo or your toothpaste pushed with air and water through a mesh, like a screen on your window or a lawnmower bag material. It's pushed with air and it dumps out, and it's bubbles. It's a bubble blower on steroids, and kids go berserk playing with it. And my grandmother, who died in 2012, was the only person I ever came across that said, I don't get it. Everybody else is like, it's bubbles. And it's nostalgic. My friend Stephen Shawcross says, Greg, it's nostalgic, because Sydney's, his daughter's birthday the other day, they did bubbles for her 10th. And foam. And more foam, more bubbles. It was cute. It was so fantastic.
Foam, man. Wait a minute, real quick. You said that bubbles in your toothpaste
It's marketing.
is marketing?
It's marketing.
Just to prove you're like getting
Yes.
clean? So you get that first foam machine, give the guy half his money back,
Uh-huh.
and then are you immediately going, all right, I guess I'm trying to sell this service again? Like, what happens after that?
In 1999, I am a year and a half into the margarita machine rental business in Austin, Texas. My roommate and friend at the time, Brian, worked in the technology at the governor's office. And he said, Greg, you need a website. I said, okay. So I get a website. My first website was presidential-service.com. I like the dead president stuff. And it was too long, and I didn't know, and I could have gotten Greg.com, but I didn't know. I didn't have that vision. I didn't dream as big as I've gotten, which is you got to have tears. And so I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months in, I looked for another website and I found partymachines.com, and there was exactly 0 people who said that's a good idea, because I was renting frozen margarita machines in Austin and Central Texas, and Party Machines didn't say any of that. To this day, you will hear people, you can read on the internet about margarita party machines, and that's because of me. So along the way, I rented out the frozen margarita machines, and I had bartending service, and I tried to do a little bit of catering, and then I got the foam machine thing. In order to rent 5 margarita machines in one day, I had to have a long bed pickup, full-size pickup truck, and 5 carts and 5 machines, and drive around. When I needed 6, I needed a second truck. My market was Central Texas, where I could drive. When I got the foam machine rental that only weighed 22 pounds or whatever, 40 pounds, that would fit into a UPS box. I knew that immediately. And partymachines.com. About that time, randomly, one of my neighbors, you create your own luck. You say yes and you show up. Stephanie, my neighbor, worked for National Instruments. She was in the apartment upstairs from me. She was cute. Hey, Greg. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, what are you doing? I told her about the website and all this. So she gave me a bootleg copy of Dreamweaver, which was a program that made my website. And I paid these 2 brothers $500. And she goes, you could update it yourself. Then somebody from Microsoft B Central about that January or February of 2002 called me, and they said, hey, search engine optimization. And they sent me an email, and the 3rd time they called, my credit card worked for the $100 they wanted. Because I kept saying, please call back. And then so I learned how to do search engine optimization in 2002 for foam machines. So I'm getting these calls from Georgia and Florida and Alabama and Mississippi. I'm driving my margarita machines around, make $90, $100 a pop in Central Texas. And I started immediately building these foam machines because they were fans with lawnmower bag material, PVC parts, and a water pump. There was nothing to them. I'm building these foam machines in my garage, in my house, because I always owned a house from 25 on. I've owned a house because that helped me. I could have roommates, and that made living easier. So I'm building these foam machines in my garage, putting them in UPS boxes, and I'm going to the Home Depot to buy the parts after 2 o'clock, scratching a check. The money clears the bank account. I mean, I'm getting by barely. And dropping them off at the UPS or the FedEx store. And these foam machines at $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a rental are going out of state. And then they come back, and they're paid for, and they go out again. I saw really quickly that my margarita machines had a ceiling. I could only rent so many as quickly as I could drive my one truck. But there's tens of thousands of UPS and FedEx trucks, and they go all over the world.
And you just put them in there and send them?
And I just put them in there and send them.
And then they send them back to you?
Most of the time they sent them back, and if they didn't, I didn't care because they were paying way more than, but yeah, they sent them back.
Okay.
Back then. And then I realized I didn't strongly dislike, I hated my customers because they're fraternities, and they're not the most pleasant people in the world. So I realized
I was wondering what the clientele was at the time.
It was fraternities. It was fraternities. It was bros and dudes, and
and
foam. I did not like. They weren't nice people.
Was in Schlitz and whatever they're
right.
doing.
They weren't nice people, and so but they paid. So I realized I could. I like to figure out the puzzle. I could sell the foam machines or give them away for free when they bought certain amounts of foam to. I could sell the foam to somebody local near them. And then my market would grow exponentially because I could keep selling the foam. And I had a margarita machine rental customer in Central Texas who was a cleaning supply company. And they're like, hey, we can make, and I'm a talker. So I'm talking to these people. They're South Austin, some of them. Hey, we could sell you the foam. So they sold me the 55-gallon drums of this liquid stuff, and I'm dumping it out in my driveway, and I've crafted the system to put it into buckets and mix it up. And then they're overcharging me. And then I passed them up and found somebody else. And then I found somebody else. And then my price kept going down. And then I'm selling 20 gallons, 4 buckets of liquid foam for whatever, and then they get a free machine. And then I discovered going to industry-specific summer camp trade shows. And then the next year, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Greg, we love." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Because I did know them, and there weren't a lot of customers. And they're like, "We're making our own foam." Why are you making your own foam? Because it's cheaper. You're charging too much. Noted. So then eventually, I turned the liquid into a powder, and that's the unlock. the unlock. Well, yeah, that and the packaging machine.
Well, going back to the frat bros,
Oh,
what
yeah.
about them was tough as a customer?
They weren't reasonable. They wanted to negotiate over nothing. I'm like, that's not the business I'm in.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't take no. I'm like, move on. I was too busy doing everything else that they all read the same manual, the book. Oh no, whatever the price is, you got to pay less. And I was not. I was also. It had to be some me because now there's no negotiating. Yesterday, I'm not allowed. I have Molly that I work with, and she and I don't allow me to reply to emails or phone calls. And I read one yesterday. She forwards it, and now she'll write back to this one. It's similar to the fraternities. She'll simply say, "Hey, dear potential customer, it appears that you're not our customer. Best of luck to you."
Yeah.
Because we're nice and we are reasonable and we don't deal because we don't have to. And my mother, who was in sales for 50 years, said, "Baby, everybody's not your customer," and that was powerful.
Yeah.
And I say it to people all the time, Joseph, baby, everybody's not your customer.
It gets you kind of like, I think in the beginning, you just got to, you're thinking about survival. But after you kind of, it's odd. When you start to understand that piece of it, start finding more of your people.
You say survival. I go further and say, in the beginning, I just wanted to make enough money to buy groceries to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Survival.
Yeah.
But it was that primitive. And I couldn't see past making enough money to buy groceries to be able to eat. And I wouldn't change a thing.
It's the straps. I think it's the scars you got to earn along the way. Those are not, you can't pass go without doing those things first.
You can't, right, you can't. And to the level of success which I have reached is not normal. It's because it's freeing. I don't have to do much. It's really cool. And with that, I have all this extra energy and free time to even get my processes even more efficient.
Yeah, what has changed today from when the early days of what Greg Gordon now does the most?
Oh my gosh, I used to sweat on the front of my legs in the warehouse because I remember driving around in the truck. Oh my! And I stopped doing the soda machines. I started self-employment June '98. Soda machines, moving them around, finding locations. June '96, October '98. I was started with the margarita machine rentals. Halloween '98, first rental, and that was scary too because it worked out, but it was a bad rental because I didn't know, and I quit the soda machines at that time. I took a beating on them, but that's okay. Charge up a bunch of credit cards. Always had good credit. I've always paid my bills. Always, 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 always. And then in November '05 was my last margarita machine rental. Sometime in '07 was my last foam machine rental, and I went strictly to selling. And I can tell you confidently in 2025, that I'm done selling the foam machines. It's just the solutions. We'll give them away for free, but I'm done selling the foam machines.
Yeah.
Because they're coming out of China and they're much better than I can make them, and the price is lower. So your question, I interrupted. What was your question?
No, I just would. What the main things you're focused? It seems like
What am I doing
days,
now? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So in the early, I did everything. Man, I answered the phone. I replied to emails. I created the email drip campaign system. I did the accounting and the book. I did all the data entry.
Yeah.
For the I built the website, and that was not fun. I did it because I had to make money to buy groceries to eat, and I did everything. Then I scheduled the UPS or FedEx pickups, and that was life-changing. Then I got the system to the email drip campaigns. That was not till 2017, but maybe that was ahead. And then I got I used to run the packaging machine. I used to build the machines. I used to go to work every day. When I say every day, I went to work every day for a few years. I went to China between 2010 and 2013 after I bought my warehouse out in Lockhart in '09. To learn how to do manufacturing. So I had a guy at the shop, but I was still over in China figuring things out. And I came home, and then I went to really went to work. And then I was going to the trade shows. Oh my gosh, trade shows are exhausting. There were 7 weeks of my life each year and about $100,000. And that was good. It got me to this point. I was always on the social media from Facebook. From MySpace. And then I got TikTok before it was cool. I got all of it before it was cool.
Yeah.
And I got a year, '06, I think, or '07, I got YouTube, and I'm still cranking those out. So today what I do, I work on the Amazon because a big percentage of my sales come via Amazon and Walmart.com, which is awesome because the distribution and the reach is worldwide. And I've been selling all over the world for quite a while. And I go to China, so I enjoy going to the factories in China. I enjoy doing the video editing and creation, and I enjoy big picture stuff, strategy, which is funny to say. I don't think it sounds arrogant, but it's I only do what I enjoy doing. I don't even have to fire customers. Molly will do that. We don't fire that many anymore because they weed themselves out.
Do you find that that could not have been though something you did in the early days? Say,
Oh no,
I'm just
we did.
a strategy guy.
No. I did everything.
I just hear a lot of folks say that, like, hey, look, I want to do my own business, but I'm not just a strategy guy. I got to find other people to do the work.
Nope. Because you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
I learned it. You got to fall. You got to get cut. You got to have the bruises. You got to get punched in the face. I did some everything. I mean, I have to get something to poke in my head. I'm like, oh, that too. I mean, I would sit there with a saw and cut the PVC pieces for hours and then I did the primer and the glue. And I was funny. I would walk into these places. Yeah, I need to buy some water pumps. Well, how many do you need? How many you got? And they're like, well, how many do you need? I need 550. Whoa. And then that's when I learned to go to China.
Yeah.
And I used to go to Tractor Supply and I'd go to Harbor Freight and I'd buy them out. And then I went to China and I've got a container load of bubble envelopes coming, 164,000 of them coming in a few weeks. It's fun. The quantity of stuff that I buy, I just giggle.
Yeah. Because in a way that probably seemed like make-believe in the early days.
Oh yeah. The warehouse, everything I've done, and I know I'm doing something right when somebody's telling me don't do. And all along the way, don't do that. Don't buy the warehouse. It's out in Lockhart. That's too far. Why do you need 9,500 square feet? Whatever it is. Oh, the liquid foam is working. Why are you putting that into 1 gallon or 1 quart things? The 5-gallon jugs are working. Powder, it's not as good as the liquid. Why? Nobody's going to buy that. You know the liquid's better. Well, you can't give the machines away for free. Yeah, you're right. And I've gotten real good. I used to take them out of my phone. Now I change their name to Nope. And I block it, so I don't even know who it is.
Do you talk about that? Some kind of it sounds like going against the grain, trusting your gut. What is that from? How do you know? Because there's probably things you do want to listen to, and then
that is from my parents. That was from childhood. You can't do that. They would say clean your room, and I would clean my room. Joseph, it was so clean. I'm so proud, and they come in and say this is horrible. It was. I don't anymore. It's been during the mayor's campaign. I learned quite a few things. You let the people go, but that's when the energy thing got into. You only have a certain amount of energy. You use it on something that's important. I learned that the next guy that's telling me not to do something, they're talking to themselves. They're not talking to me. Mm-hmm. And also, if I take suspicious white powder, put it into plastic bags and sell it all over the world and make a really good living. That doesn't make sense. So I get it when the next guy says, hey, man, I don't believe you. I get it. I wouldn't believe me either. I'll start sometimes. They'll say, what do you do for a living? Can we talk about something else? Because I'm going to monopolize the conversation because I'm incredibly interesting. Yeah. They're like, man, you're arrogant. Oh, I said, did I not say I'm arrogant too? Okay, I'm arrogant and incredibly interesting. And by that point, they're either my friend or they're not. It's real fun. It's real fun. Every single bit. I only do stuff now that I enjoy. I could floss more.
Yeah,
I could floss my teeth more.
I didn't. There's some people out there who never floss. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Not because I'm not talking about like. Folks
just good genes, or they just don't.
No, they just don't.
That's wacky.
It's weird, right?
I could read more. I could floss more.
But otherwise,
I'm pretty
you're
good.
Rocking and rolling, man.
Those are the top 2 things on my annual list of goals. Floss.
That's at least
4 times a week.
Well, that's a good spot to be in if those are the things that maybe keeping you up more at night. Go back real quick to trusting that intuition. That's another thing that's hard. That gut check.
So the Tammy Carnahan theory.
Yeah.
She didn't 10 years, 15 years later. She didn't even think I remembered her. That is so powerful. I remember how painful middle school was, and when I got picked on, or I thought, oh my gosh, I can't tuck my shirt on, or don't tuck my shirt on, don't tuck my shirt on. Oh, what is somebody at school gonna say? Man, when I went from everybody's looking at me to everybody's looking at me, it is so powerful. I genuinely, because my parents were so mean to me as a kid, and it had nothing to do with me. It was because my dad is in his gambling addiction, and my mother should have divorced the guy and took me and my brothers and gotten him away from us. That they were dealing with their own stuff. It has nothing to do with me. It's not, you have enough challenges managing what's in your own head. I have enough challenges managing what's in my own head. It doesn't matter what the next guy thinks. A million lessons from running for mayor. Here's a good one. It was a special election to replace the Kirk Watson, who's mayor right now, which is wacky. But he quit halfway through his second term to go get on the primary to run for attorney general on the Democrat ticket against a guy who was a judge named Greg Abbott, who beat him in the general election a long time ago for attorney general. And so it was a special election before the spring when they were going to have all these elections coming up. So it was exactly one thing on the ballot. The city of Austin at the time had $100. I might put you to sleep. I'm going to try not to.
No, I'm wide awake.
The city of Austin at the time had a campaign contribution limit of $100 per donor. The state of Texas is unlimited. And at the time, and probably still today, you don't go anywhere from being mayor. You want to be mayor, you actually want to do something. All I ever wanted to do as a kid, I wanted to run for office, work for myself, and never be told what not to do. And travel. So the opportunity came for me to become a candidate, a major party candidate in a nonpartisan race for mayor of Austin, and I had nothing to lose. So I'm the big signs all over town, television commercials, radio interviews, and I'm this young whippersnapper against Gus, who became the winner, who was a 67-year-old, not icon, but staple in the community. Been on council, been on school board, cool, neat guy. I got to have lunch with him twice after he became mayor. And after Friday, after the Tuesday election, where we'd spent tens of thousands of dollars, television and all that stuff, I'm bartending a wedding with my margarita machines out of Salt Lick with my buddy, and I'm showing off. I said, watch this. My signs were all over town. I said, watch this. 2 women come up for drinks. Hey, where y'all from? We live here in Austin. Oh, wait. No way. Did you vote? Vote what? In the election? For what? For mayor? For what? Austin mayor's election. When was it? It was Tuesday. Really? The lesson, I couple that with the Tammy Carnahan theory. I put my heart, my sweat, my friends moved in with me. We ran for mayor. I was the candidate. They didn't even know there was an election. Fast forward, I've got a nasty margarita machine rental customer 2, 3, 4, 5 months later. You're the worst. You got to pay for this, and you ruined my party, and you got to give me my money back, and da-da-da. And I'm ready because I just had that talk with the 2 women at the thing. I said, oh, yeah? You're probably going to tell all your friends about me. This is me on the phone with her. If I don't give you money back, I'm going to tell all my friends about you, and I'm having fun. And you got a lot of friends. I got a lot of friends. She was just playing along, and she was hot. I said, oh, and you're going to ruin, I'm going to ruin your business. Oh, it was just, I was having fun. I said, what's my name? Hello? Hello? She'd hung up. No idea who she was talking to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's where it doesn't matter. And my mom says, baby, if one person's going to ruin your business, you shouldn't be in business anyway. One person's not that powerful. People used to say things like, oh, give me a bunch of cards, I'll pass them out. Now I say, I don't carry cards. My reply is, oh, I don't have any cards. Or, oh, I got too much business. Actually, can you stop telling people about me? Because what they're saying is I want something for free. No, thank you. It's so powerful. These lessons, everything's a lesson. Everything's a lesson. And nobody is more special than the next person. So you asked where it came from. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the real life lessons, and it allows me to sleep better at night. Oh, a bad review on Amazon. Oh my gosh, when I was new at that, I'm like, oh wait, no, that lady didn't even know my name. All this crazy cool stuff. It doesn't matter. Costco, HEB, they give you your money back, right? I don't like it. You get your money back. At partymachines.com, you get your money back. Molly, before she writes the email back, I've already refunded your card. Here's return shipping labels. If you don't send it back to us, we won't harass you. Because we're too busy making too much money from everybody else. You're one person and we got lots of customers.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't the way we do business. And we're small compared to big business, but what we're doing works. It's pretty cool. You sleep better at night. And I've said that. You're paid with your credit card. Even if I didn't give you your money back, you'll win the dispute. I'm not allowed to talk on the phone, but back when I was, I would say that. And then, because I don't care.
If you go tell Chase or you go tell Wells Fargo, they'll
give you, you'll win the dispute.
Yeah.
Like, why? And nothing. And also another one is you don't want, and you can't write anything nasty because you visualize it on a big monitor in a courtroom. You don't want to do that. Even if it is, it's not going to change your life. One bad customer, and every day there's more people. It's so easy. At this point, 20 some odd years into it. Yeah. It's cool. And
it's some lessons learned along the way, man. Yeah, it's not just, I don't hear you just saying kill them with kindness, but this is actually like, no, focus on the right things.
Right. Focus on what makes you money to buy groceries in order to eat. And along the way, I bought my house. I got roommates when I needed it. I cut out the yuckiness. The yuckiness today is selling foam machines. I cut out the bad employees. I like this one. Do you know when the best time to fire somebody is? The first time you think about it. Because you're going to think about it again later. And you're like, man, why didn't I fire them a year ago? Whatever it is, whether it's a customer, an employee, or whomever in your life.
Just go.
Let them go because let them go.
Seems like you subscribe to momentum above almost this perfect
forward
plan.
momentum.
Forward momentum.
Absolutely, yes. Oh, you didn't like it? Move on.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get the email sometimes, and they send a long thinking about this isn't working for us.
Yeah.
This foam setup. I've already refunded your money. Keep the stuff.
Yeah, we used to say this thing in the service because in the Army especially, you can get, one of the things we're really great at in schoolhouse is teaching people how to plan, really complex operations and stuff. But at some point, one of the things you can do just through analysis paralysis, that kind of stuff, we should tell folks all the time, young folks kind of going, 70% plan, executed violently, wins every day. Which just means just make it good enough and then go hard.
I love good enough.
Yeah.
I love good enough. The foam powder is not as good as the liquid foam, but it's 1/6 the cost.
Yeah.
And on a scale of 1 to 100, the liquid's 100, the powder's an 89.
Yeah, that'll work.
You get 6 times as much.
So what are people doing? So y'all shifted, you're not selling any more machines anymore. No. You're going out there and saying, we're just selling you the supply.
I make the videos, I enjoy it. And I get help, but I enjoy making the videos. The video says, which is the marketing and the advertising, it says, I don't care what machine you bought. Because we used to sell you $1,500, $1,600 worth of foam and you get a free machine. Now, you buy the same $1,500 to $1,600 worth of foam, send me proof of your receipt of a purchase of a foam machine on Amazon, and I'll give you a discount code on my website for $400 off of the $1,600 foam. So you've got no risk. You pick whatever machine you want, I'll give you the foam because you're going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And when your machine breaks, we've still got inventory. Even the one you didn't buy from us, we'll send you one of ours.
Oh, interesting.
Until we run out.
Is it mainly, who are most of your customers on the foam side of the house? Are they businesses that are also renting these foam machines out, or are they individuals?
It used to be businesses. It used to be the bouncy, jumpy moonwalk company.
Yeah.
But I have so many, because of the cost of the machine, there's one for $130 on Amazon that's rocking. So I speak in analogies. You can rent an inflatable from Joseph's Bouncy House Company in South Austin that Joseph bought for $3,500 and you can pay $379 for the weekend. Or you can go to Target and buy a lesser quality inflatable that you own for $379. So the $379 equivalent on a foam machine now exists on Amazon. So every day there's more and more of those, while I still have the equipment rental companies who are getting busier because the more foam machines that go into the market, the more foam machines and the more foam solution that goes into the market.
Mm-hmm.
And every day, because of my TikTok with over 1.2 million followers, that happened during the pandemic, from 0 or 12 followers to over 1.2 million. Now there's more people in the US and there's more people in China. The Chinese vendors are going straight from the factory to Amazon warehouses, which makes me do backflips because they've got the 139, the 239, the 339, and they're so much better. And I'm sure it's just coincidence, if you believe in them, I don't, that the machines that are coming out of China are pretty much exactly like the way when I go to the factory, like I tell them how to make them. Because I go over there, because I speak enough Chinese from my time over there, and I go eat with them, and I do all the stuff you're supposed to do. I tell them how to make foam machines better and what they want in the U.S. And then 6-8 months later, there's 3 or 4 new listings on Amazon, which is fantastic.
And you got them.
Because frequently bought with their machine is always the Dr. Party foam powder packs. And I'm making videos about that too. And that's the best advertising.
What happens beyond foam?
Oh,
wait, before you answer that, who is the frat bros? What are the other uses for foam parties?
Oh, there's a haunted house. Haunted house tries to scare you during the month of October. So they have the gooey, the whatever, they get dark. They'll fill, and I walk through it, a 20-foot long hallway, fill it with foam. You get in there, you can't breathe. You think you're going to drown. And it just bubbles. You can breathe fine, but it's scary. It's in the dark. So haunted houses are good. Amusement parks, resorts, summer camps, because summer camps need activities to entertain the kids. Easy. Now they're doing the bouncy, jumpy moonwalk companies. They're doing it for whatever.
Yeah.
And then, what am I missing? I said summer camps. And then equipment rental companies.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
Okay.
And the fraternities will rent from those guys. All those folks, they'll rent from. Like, my stuff doesn't say that we sell the solution. They're going to call their local rental companies because of Google searches and all.
So now going back to what happens
next?
beyond foam.
What happens beyond foam is I work on an exit strategy because I made enough money. And then along the way, the guy that sells me the foam talked me into buying some bath bombs and shower steamers. Mm-hmm. So I need to work on that. Oh, and also more different options because I have a foam powder. I'm working on a foam pod, and I'm working on a foam puck, the size of a hockey puck with sodium bicarbonate. You drop it into the tub full of water, and that'll be another version of foam because you can buy Coca-Cola in all these different versions, a 3, a 2, a 1 liter, a half liter, 16 ounce, a 12 ounce can, an 8 ounce can, an 8 ounce bottle. So foam's going to come in different varieties because it's growing. There's a gazillion bubble blowers, and they're down at $19, $12 at Walmart or Walgreens. So foam is growing. Like, it didn't exist for the kids market when I started it in 2002, and they now call them. That's another one is all the new quote unquote new folks that come in. They call it foam party machines, and I have the trademark for party machines in relation to foam, which helps me on Amazon. But just like margarita party machines, because of the partymachines.com, and that was not planned. Yeah. Foam party machines. It's like, no, I appreciate the people copying because if they're not copying you, you're not trying hard enough. So what's next? The more bubble products because I love a consumable. Love a consumable. They're going to call you about the machine with 9,000 parts in it. Mm-hmm. They're going to consume the consumable.
Yeah, and get more. Well, I think the thing that I know folks we all can get caught up on is call it passion, call it like your purpose, those kinds of things. I could be wrong, but I imagine young Greg Gordon didn't daydream about a foam empire. Like, no. I just don't think he thought about that. You kind of, the way you're living your life reminds me of a guy named Wade who runs Square Cow. He goes, don't follow your passion, follow the profit. He goes, and then you end up becoming passionate about it. And I don't know if that resonates or not with you, but I am curious. When most folks are thinking about pursuing whatever business they want to get into, whatever endeavor, especially as an owner and operator, I feel like a lot of things that admire them is like, but what am I into? I'm into airplanes, I'm into these things. And I don't know that foam would have hit you. It came out of a conversation you said yes to. What advice or what insight would you give to somebody who might be trying a little too hard to find the perfect thing to get into when maybe the obvious thing is standing right in front of them? What would you tell somebody about doing that?
I say yes and show up. Hey, Greg, everything I do, I mean, this one's fun. I'm just turned 19, living at the dorm. Paul Gordon, my older brother, says, hey, My girlfriend, Sherry, works at Chili's. They're opening this new restaurant in North Austin called Macaroni Grill. I know you're going to need a job. Why don't you come with me? Because I didn't have a car. And I went and got the job being a host and the cappuccino person. And then I became a back waiter, an assistant waiter.
Cappuccino person?
I was that guy. And
You're already into the phone, man.
That's I didn't think about it. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
And then so I said yes, and I got the job. And from there, I waited on John Sharp, who at the time was a statewide elected official, like my politics stuff. I look at his credit card and
This cracks me up, man, that politics and phone are in the same conversation.
Oh yeah. I can't tell. It's personal to me. So John Sharp and his wife, another couple, and I'm waiting tables after about 3 years. And John Sharp. I said, John Sharp. He goes, yeah. I said, and I asked somebody before I walked over there to the table. I said, he's the comptroller. Someone else goes, he's a railroad commissioner. So I walk over there. So I got 2 in my head. I said, you're the railroad commissioner? He goes, I used to be. I said, you're the comptroller. They're like, yeah, he is. I said, I'm a registered voter. I vote. I'm going to run for office one day. Do you have some advice? He goes, yeah, marry rich or use your parents' money. I said, seriously? He said, seriously? And his wife's shaking her head, like, wow. So I said, well, can I have a job? He goes, Greg? Because they know my name. I think you know me well enough to know they know my name.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. He says, give me a pen, piece of paper. He goes, how much money do you make here? And at the time, I said, $12 an hour. He goes, you going to school? I said, yeah. He goes, you work part-time? I said, yeah. He goes, wait, I'm not going to be there tomorrow. Call Libby. She's my assistant. She'll be waiting for your call. So I'll finish the story, but you could, right? So I call the next day. Hey, Libby, she's not in. Can I take a message? Greg Gordon. Hang on, Mr. Gordon. Let me patch you into Tom Duffy, Mr. Sharp's chief of staff. He's been waiting for your call. Tom Duffy. Hey, Tom. Greg Gordon. Hey, Mr. Gordon. Been waiting for your call. Mr. Sharp speaks highly of you. I'm thinking, who are these people? So we talk on the phone. He goes, yeah. So I show up a month later, and they start working me half-time at some place at the state of Texas where nobody works half-time. And I'm answering taxability questions for 18 months. And then I go back to waiting tables. And this is when I stopped going to college. Yeah. And then I go to a graduation lunch with Candace, an old family friend, and her uncle, Butch from New Orleans, sits next to me. And he has a vending business in New Orleans. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm about to start my own business. He goes, what are you going to do? I said, man, I don't know. He goes, I've got a vending business. Here, take my number. You can buy a vending machine, a soda machine for $3,000, and then you get a second and a third and a fourth. I said, great. So I go to find 3 used Pepsi machines for the exact same price as his one. So I'm off to the races. And then then I'm waiting tables to support my soda machine habit. They said, hey, you should rent frozen margarita. The guy's name was Archie Schaefer at the Oasis because I moved out there. You should buy some margarita machines. I got buddies in D.C. and they rent 10 of them every weekend. And so I did it. So I bought a margarita machine and then I was off to the races. It was someone else's idea and I said yes and showed up and it worked out. Yeah, you got to say yes. And I mean, and then so I discover the foam. So I build my own. I call my friend Steven, who now owns a bunch of restaurants in town. And I call him, I said, I've got this flyer made for my foam machines. He goes, we need to go to this conference for event planners because Steven's a caterer. It's in Vegas. And it was January. He goes, I'll go with you. So we go to this trade show and we see this attractive woman in a booth and she's got a foam machine and a snow machine. And I walk up, hi, I'm Greg Gordon. And her husband zips around. He goes, hi, I'm Francisco. I know who you are. I've seen your website. You need to come to Alabama. I'll give you a ride on my helicopter. I was 32. I said, how old are you? He said, 36. Stephen and I looked at each other. We looked at Francisco, was the guy's name. And Stephen and I said, I need to go to Alabama. So I went to Alabama to see this guy because he had a helicopter at 36. And he makes these snow machines and he turned me on to the snow machine rental business and he sells to Disney and all this neat stuff. And I'm standing in his kitchen like 4 months later. And his wife looks at me. She goes, what are you doing here? I said, I'm making some food. She goes, no. What are you doing here in Alabama? I said, your husband invited me. She goes, he invites everybody. You're the only person who's ever showed up. So then he proceeds to tell me, he goes, hey, do you have a passport? I said, yeah. I'd never left the country yet. He goes, I don't know when, but I'm going to get a trip to China going. So you'll get an email. So it was August 05 or like June. Hey, I'm going, me and all the 40, 50 other people going to China. So it's me and Francisco and one other guy go to China because he said, show up. And that was my first introduction to China. We get back He goes, hey, man, I'm going to this trade show for amusement parks in November in Atlanta. I said, I got a buddy that lives there. He's doing a fellowship for his anesthesiology. Cool. He goes, you come stand in my booth. And I learned trade shows. And then I got my own booth. I mean, it was somebody else's idea. They said yes. They gave me the suggestion. I said yes and showed up. And that's why I'm here with you.
That's why.
Is that right?
No, it's truth, man. I think this is, well, and I think too many times if you're trying to connect the dots too hard, it's just hard to do. It's almost impossible.
I can connect my dots.
I think for a lot of folks, it's not even about the next thing you say yes to. It's that this gives you permission four steps from now to say yes to this thing. But if you don't say yes to this thing right now, that thing doesn't happen.
I've every single thing. I mean, I don't know how much time you got. My friend Craig calls me in June of 2009 and says, Greg Gordon, what are you doing? It was a Sunday. I said, nothing. He goes, I'm going out to Lockhart. I said, where's Lockhart? He goes, shut up. I'm picking you up. He goes, we're on the drive out. We're looking at this building I want to buy to do art out of. Great. And at that time, I was renting a 1,250 square foot building for $800 a month. So the building we looked at for him didn't work. The realtor shows up. He goes, I got this building around the corner. And Craig goes, oh. And I don't get 4 feet inside the building. And it was $190 grand, 9,500 square foot, natural spring water out back, a huge parking lot for 15 cars. I don't get 4 or 5 feet inside the building. It was ugly. It's a block and a half off the square. I said, we'll take it. Craig goes, I said, write it up. And Craig's like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in for half. He called me that night. Greg, I'm out. I can't do it. So it ended up me buying the building. Couldn't get a loan. The owner goes, I'll owner finance it to you. I did my research on you. You're good for it. So then I go to China because I was scared about my $1,600 a month. It was $800 more than. I'm like, I don't know how to pay this. So I had a guy work for me, and I went off to China, spent no money for 3 years. But when the reason I went to China is because that January 2010, after I bought the building in August 2009, I go for the month. Some other guys taking advantage of me, American in China, and I'm in Beijing, and it's miserable. But after the August when I bought it, I went to a wedding in October 2009. My 2 different friends, one of them got married, the other one is living in Cambodia. I said, what? She goes, you're going to Beijing in January? It's an hour and a half plane ride. Come see me one weekend. So now it's January 2010, and I go to the airport to go to Cambodia to see my friend, randomly meet some girl who was born and raised in Beijing. She introduced me to a woman who introduced me to this hiking group. So all of a sudden I had 20 to 30 every Saturday hiking friends that were all Beijing natives that had gotten U.S. and Canadian passports, and they were rock stars. I mean, they weren't wealthy. Their pinkies were wealthy. And all of them had exactly, to this day, they have exactly one American friend because they weren't making friends with non-Chinese people. And I know why after living there. It's just different culture. But I'm like, I don't care. Let's go hiking. And I went to the Great Wall all these times. But anyway, so I see another buddy, randomly, my state comptroller, one of the supervisors. I go to a University of Texas football game at 7-something in the morning, and this random guy, friend of a friend, the slimy guy, introduces me to, and his name is Chris, and Chris is like, Mr. Gordon, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? So we hang out, and he goes, man, you got to move here. So I got Chris, and I got this hiking group, so I moved to Beijing for 33 months, and that was that. Somebody gave me an opportunity to do something. I said yes and showed up every single time.
I think it's that part you call about making your own luck.
Yes. I got back from China after 33 months. I owned the warehouse. I had owned it 40 months. I paid it off. So I didn't have to pay $1,600 a month again.
Greg, man, it's been a rocking time chatting with you. I got one last thing to ask you about, and then I guess we'll call it good for today. But I have a feeling you and I are going to keep talking at some point. I just feel like that's not going to...
This is therapeutic.
Well, I've been having a rocking time, man. Plus, I love meeting when somebody idles at 7,000 RPM. Most folks idle at 500 RPM. You idle at 700, so it's been great, man. I dig it. When you think about this thing we call I talk a lot about the American dream. It's something I grew up around, got to watch my parents do it, got to watch other folks do it. It's all their different versions of it. But a lot of them, I think the essence of it, there's probably a lot of definitions. The way I captured it in my brain is similar to what you said. It's like having agency over your own life. Like you get to take the credit and the licks for the things that you do, but there's something fulfilling about that. And at the end of the day, no one is going to tell you what you can't give back to or whatever. My father-in-law is a really good example of somebody who, like, he doesn't think about helping his community twice. They need extra excavating, need extra dirt here or whatever. He's just going to do it. He don't have some person he's got to ask permission to or whatever. He's going to do it's the right thing. He goes hunting with the folks at the end of the week with them. Everybody's good. I think there's just something about that that's really fulfilling. So my last kind of thought here for you is, as you think about the possibility of folks pursuing their dream still, being able to do a Greg Gordon move today, is that still as possible as it ever has been?
Yes.
Okay, why
is it
that?
easy? No, it's never easy.
Yeah.
I am my own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy. One of my many goals is to be a little bit less
of my
own worst enemy every day. I aspire to own 92% of my time. The other 8% is stuff happens.
Taxes.
And I'm real close. Taxes.
Yeah.
I don't love paying taxes, but I'm proud.
It means you did something all right.
Yeah, because there were so many years I didn't.
Yeah. But talk about your own worst enemy. Like for folks right now, what are the things that they can get in their own way of pursuing this?
I'll tell you what I did this morning for 40 minutes. I scrolled on my phone. That was not productive. I mean, just don't listen. I try to listen. I'm pretty good about those voices in my head. I make my bed every day, but I've been doing that since I was yay tall. And that's huge. I mean, I live it. I don't care what you think of me. I want you to like me. I don't care. Because the statistics, there's, the plus or minus 2 or 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Or as Curtis, the smartest guy in 2 counties next to my shop in Lockhart, says, it don't matter none.
Yeah, there is something freeing about that, man. It is a lot of living up to other people's expectation. They don't even know what the heck you're about.
They don't think about you. It is so powerful. There's a million comebacks. Or call them the wrong name. Or say you've got something in your teeth, or put your hand up over your mouth and say your breath. Or asking someone, it's just powerful. I don't need to do that. And those are rare cases. There's a phrase that people near and dear to me, they'll say, uh-oh, did you go Greg Gordon on them? Like, no, I hope I didn't.
No, I think there's something we can all learn from that. I think it's just being focused on the right things. You look at the wall, you're going to crash into it. Look at where you want to go.
Snowboarding or skiing. You go through the trees. You never, ever, ever. I'm going to use that one. Thank you. I got that. Was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at the wall, yeah, you don't.
You go to where you look. You go to where you look at, and I think good, hardcore drivers, they just know how to keep it on the road.
In my business, there's always other people that do what I do. I don't spend any energy thinking about, talking about, or saying their names. You will never, ever, ever hear me say the name of somebody else who sells foam machines or foam. Because I'm Greg Gordon. That's free advertising.
Well, Greg Gordon, man, thank you for coming in today, brother. Appreciate you. I'm so glad we ran into each other in Colorado.
This is fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you decided to say, we're out there filming, and I'm glad you decided to say something. Yeah, well, part of it, just for anybody.
Now you get it.
Well, I get it, man. And you know what? Like, I think it maybe takes one to know one. I guess, like, for me, I was actually tinkering with these weird, for anybody who's been to a town that is into biking, mountain biking and stuff.
I saw it on the Instas.
I was tinkering with the tool set that they give you as a public tool set, and Greg had the kind audacity to say, to come flag us down. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for coming in here. I'm looking forward to learning more about foam. But more importantly, I think it's a good reminder. Focus on where we're going. Focus on where you're going. Don't worry about the noise.
You've got 24 hours in a day. You spend 10 of them eating, getting ready, and sleeping. You got 14 hours left, man.
Yeah.
And I live it.
Greg, thanks, brother. Thanks for tuning in to the American Operator Podcast, where we celebrate the backbone of America, small business owners and operators like you. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss out on more of these stories and insights from people who keep our community strong. Until next time, keep building, keep keep operating, and keep America moving forward.